Victorian London, 1850. A foggy city, horse-drawn carriages, factories belching smoke. A city in transformation. Workers march to factories, early morning hustle, the heartbeat of London's industrial growth and progress. Inside a factory, steam engines roar, machinery whirs. Workers operate in a fast-paced, dangerous environment. A factory worker, soot-covered and weary, struggles with machinery, embodying the hardships of industrial labor. Massive chimneys billow black smoke into the sky, marking the growth and pollution of industrial London. London streets, crowded with workers, carriages and vendors, bustling with activity amid industrial progress. Overcrowded slums, filthy conditions, where the poorest Londoners endure harsh lives far from industrial wealth. A factory whistle blows sharply, signaling the start of another grueling hours-long work shift for laborers. Sick children lie in streets, the city's poor health worsened by overcrowding and unsanitary conditions. Cholera spreads through London's slums, overwhelming public health, claiming countless lives amidst the Industrial Revolution. A worker struggles with a dangerous machine, symbolizing the high risks of labor in Victorian factories. Steam billows from factory vents, symbolizing industrial growth and the intense heat of London's workforce. A woman worker labors in a factory, her face strained, representing the often unseen labor force. Social reformers gather, discussing changes in labor laws and conditions, advocating for the city's workers. Florence Nightingale cares for soldiers, symbolizing the fight for better healthcare and sanitation reform. Edwin Chadwick passionately speaks about public health, pushing for sanitation reforms to protect London's citizens. A poor family sits together in a cramped, dark room, the harsh realities of industrial life. Children labor in factories, deprived of childhood, enduring the long hours and dangers of industrial work. The marketplace hums with activity as workers, merchants and customers crowd the streets of Victorian London. Children play in the polluted Thames, a tragic symbol of industrial waste and public health crises. Steam trains cut across the countryside, revolutionizing transportation and connecting cities like never before. A steamship glides along the Thames, changing how goods are transported in an industrialized London. A wealthy Victorian family enjoys a life of luxury, far removed from the struggles of the working poor. Victorian elites dance at a lavish ball, their lives defined by excess and wealth, untouched by hardship. Calloused hands of a worker show the physical toll of long hours, reinforcing the harsh realities. Victorian public health posters urge citizens to clean up, highlighting the growing concern over sanitation. A street seller, with children at his side, epitomizes the widespread child labor across Victorian London. A working-class family shares a meager meal together, exhausted after a long day of factory labor. Workers crowd into public transport vehicles, heading to factories, the transportation system packed with the working class. A factory worker suffers an injury in the dangerous workplace, highlighting the risk of industrial jobs. A doctor performs a procedure in a dimly lit, unsanitary Victorian hospital, reflecting the era's medical struggles. Social reformers meet, strategizing ways to improve labor rights, conditions, and health for the working class. Night falls, but factories remain active, steam rising from chimneys as workers continue the grind of industry. London's public health crisis deepens, with sick citizens struggling to survive amidst overcrowding and unsanitary conditions. Victorian inventions like steam engines and looms drive the Industrial Revolution, propelling England into the modern age. The grim exterior of a Victorian workhouse, where the poorest citizens toil for survival in miserable conditions. Exhausted workers pause to look over the Thames, reflecting on the grueling work that fills their days. Workers protest in the streets, demanding better wages and safer conditions, marking the birth of labor movements. Workers meet to discuss forming unions, pushing for labor rights and fair wages in a rapidly industrializing world. Social reformers push for sanitation awareness, working to clean up London's streets and protect public health. Pollution from factories poisons London's air and water, a visible consequence of unchecked industrial growth. Exhausted after work, A Victorian family shares a modest meal in their cramped, dark living space. Factory tools and machines click and whir, driving the labor force that powers the Industrial Revolution. Factory laws are introduced to protect workers, especially women and children, ensuring safer working environments. The steam engine powers factories, trains, and ships, revolutionizing industry and transforming London into an industrial hub. A factory worker, drained by hours of labor, shows the toll that industrial work takes on health. Victorian London's narrow, crowded streets bustle with workers, traders, and carriage traffic amid the industrial chaos. Social reformers speak to workers on the street, urging better labor rights and healthier living conditions. Steam-powered trains revolutionize travel, connecting cities and spreading industrialization across England and beyond. Gas lamps illuminate London's streets at night, signaling a new age of urban living and innovation. Workers build London's infrastructure, constructing roads, bridges, and factories that power industrial growth and urbanization. Working-class children play in the streets, unaware of the harsh future awaiting them in the factories. Sanitation reforms bring cleaner water systems to London, gradually improving public health and living conditions. Workers head home as the day ends, readying themselves for another grueling cycle of industrial labor.